Testing, testing. Are we on? Are we on? Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I am your host, Glenn Pooh Harding, and tonight we have a very special guest. This basketball head is in St. Out Savior Lutheran and Lackawanna College grade, where he led his team in steals and assists. After JUCO, he attended Urbana University, where he would lead his team in three-point percentage and assists in his senior year. This basketball head professional career will begin in the Eastern Basketball Alliance with the Scranton Wilkes Bear Barons, and a 2-year run with the legendary Harlem Globetrotters. A born leader, he will eventually find a role with the Harlem Wizards as a coach and director of player development. After 21 years of traveling the world and impacting communities, he still maintains those titles to date. His work across the world has included entertaining fans in 30 different countries and states in this union. A passion for the game he has always burned inside of this basketball head. And he sought to share some of his knowledge and experience of the game with the young people of New York City, which led him and his older brother, Darryl Jones, to form the New York Dragons AAU program. During the program's 13 years of service, they have placed over 100 student athletes in colleges, athletic and academic scholarships. You know, that's what we do. We receive and then we give back. So, without further ado, help me welcome to the show, Out Savior Lutheran, great, and Urbana University standout, my guy, Eric Broadway Jones.
Y'all ready?
Y'all ready?
Yes. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
What's up?
Yo, what's going on, bro?
How you doing? First of all, let me make this announcement to the people on Instagram who's watching right now. Y'all want to watch this interview, y'all got to come over to YouTube. You know how we doing now. We going straight to YouTube. So tonight y'all going to be able to hear this interview. Y'all got to come to YouTube. I got the headphones on, so you ain't going to be able to hear it. You want to watch my guy, Eric Broadway Jones, you got to come over to YouTube. NYC Basketball Network. That's how we doing it. And make sure you press that subscribe button.
For sure, man. Get the followers up, get the subscribers up. Make sure you check us out, man, and listen to the interesting commentary, and we're gonna have some fun with it.
That's right, man. So look, this has been a long time coming.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people just think, people just be popping up. No, it's all planned out, and it's the right timing. So I want to make sure it's the right timing for you and also for myself, so we can make this happen.
More importantly, man, I want to say thanks for having me on the show. As you said, it was a lot of time in coordination, and we were able to put it together, man. And it's all on God's time. And so we here, man. Let's give the people a show.
That's right, man. So I want to jump right into this, man.
Yes,
Always
sir.
ask all my guests, who introduced you to the game?
My dad, when I was 5 years old, my dad was a coach, coached some guys that some people may have heard of, Ron Mathias, known as the Terminator, Pookie Wilson. He coached those guys when they were like 10 years old. So he coached many legendary players, New York City, Sam Worthen, Kenny Bannister, to name a few. coached the Pro Rucker, coached in high school, and he just instilled in me and my brother that sports was a way to be able to stay active, have fun, and create opportunities for yourself. So that said, man, I kind of was a all sport athlete, but wound up falling in love with the game of basketball.
Yeah, man. Listen, I had this big, I don't want to say big disagreement because it was only one way, right? So I'm just going to tell you this short story.
Okay.
And I've been telling this story since I was 15. And I'm going to say it again because I know he's listening. Up at City College.
Yep.
They had the Pro-Am tournament.
Correct.
Right? So this is like my first time ever seeing pros live. I've never been to a pro basketball game before this.
Okay, cool.
So I go up there because all my friends telling me we got to go because Sam Worthing is playing.
Yeah.
Now, Sam is right from up the block from me.
Okay.
Right? Neighborhood hero, star.
Ralph and Halsey.
There you go.
I'm with you.
So we go there and Sam puts on the show. Right?
Yeah.
And he's playing against Kevin Williams.
Wow.
Right? So, and I never say he did Kevin Williams dirty. It was just one move that I would never forget that kind of blew me away. And the fact that the guy who was the announcer, every time he kept yelling Sam would throw it between his legs coming up the court, and Kev was waiting for him at half court.
Mm-hmm.
He shook up Kev a little bit, and then you mentioned Ken Bannister.
Right.
He goes to the foul line. He spins the ball in his finger, roll it down his arm, and throw it behind his back. Now, to everybody else, that's normal Sam, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to a 15-year-old kid like myself, it blew me away.
Yeah.
Ken Bannister caught it, dunked it, and it took about 15 minutes before the audience could kind of get back in their seats.
Right.
Now, I'm going to let you go on, but I just have to say this because he left some nasty remarks in the comments, and, it's like, yo, Sam don't remember us. Yo, bruh, you know how many guys I've been up here and people been in the comments and sharing stories? Guys like Ross Strickland, Kenny Anderson was like, I'm not sure if I remember. Because you're in the action, so you're not going to remember it. But somebody who's watching from a fan point of view, we remember everything.
Well, I'm going to say this, man. Sam Worthing was one of the guys who was responsible for me being in the position I'm in today. Yes. That's definitely the big bro. Like, if for lack of a better word, he held my hand, right? Partially because he had the relationship with my dad, who he had played for, and just for the fact that he's just a good dude.
Yes.
And Sam introduced me, along with a gentleman by the name of Tommy Starks, who's a legend in his own right, to entertainment basketball. And as we well know, everybody grows up with a dream about being an NBA player, right? And we all had the dream until our reality hit us that, that may not be our path, which is fine. And Sam just showed me that there was an opportunity, an avenue, a way for me to stay around the game of basketball, make a living, impact families and people across the world. And I didn't know it would turn into this, but that $50 they paid me for that first game, I was on deck, you know what I mean? Plus the $25 meal money. Right. I was like, man, this is all right at 24 years old or however old I was. But to that point, Sam was cheating a little bit, man, because he was playing entertainment basketball along with playing professionally in the league and in the minor leagues, and he had the ball on the string to start with. So that stuff that he did, he was probably doing that from the time he was 14, 15.
So that's what I'm saying. So, listen, whoever's watched my show, the only thing I do is salute guys. I don't get up here, no rumors, none of this nonsense. I don't get on here talking guys.
Love.
That ain't what it is.
Yeah.
Right? I offered him to come on the show. I said, yo, Kev, come on the show. Like, it's not about, I don't try to make anyone look bad. But if you ask Bobito Garcia, I told him in early 90s or late 90s when they shot the Above the Rim movie, which we was all in, I said that story was him. When I was in college, I shared that same story when I was in college. When I was in prep school, I shared that same story. When I went to Lincoln, we won the city championship that year, 85, because it motivated me. And I mean, we won it in 86. I would tell all of my dudes about this one move, and it stuck with me till to this day.
Right. It was an experience, and it was something that it was like it's like the time when Vince Carter jumped over Frederick Weiss, right? That stuck with you. And the people, I was listening to Vince Carter talk about, you know, his reaction and their reaction, and he didn't know he jumped over the dude until after the game, right? And his teammates had to tell him that you actually jumped over the dude, and he's like, wow. And then he went back and looked at the highlights, and obviously we've all saw that play.
So if there wasn't no video of it, his version would have been totally different from ours.
Yeah, so he was saying basically he was just looking at the dudes, and he thought that they was hyped because he dunked on somebody, but he didn't even realize that he actually jumped over him, and he was more concerned that he thought that he had jumped from too far. So the story gets translated, and at the end of the day, it's all basketball, it's all love. We are part of the community, and you know, these are our stories that we get to tell and kind of continue to allow to leave a legacy. But that's just what it is, man. We having fun with it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, brother. What part of New York City you from?
Oh, come on, bro. X up all day, man. Bronx or nowhere. That's what it is, man. I wear that like a badge of honor, man. Proud to be from the X, and you know, that's what made me. That gave me the fortitude, the resilience, the stick-to-itiveness, whatever you want to call it, to kind of just push through and always grind and know that I'm one step away from being where I started from. So I don't never, you know, all gas, no brakes.
Nah, that's real, man. That's real. It's something about being from Brooklyn and the Bronx. Everywhere in between, we'll probably get to. Okay? But for some reason, the guys in Brooklyn don't go to the Bronx, and the guy from the Bronx don't come to Brooklyn.
Fact. That's a whole fact. And the crazy part about it is there's a level of respect when you going against a dude from Brooklyn, because there's a grittiness, there's a toughness, there's an edge that those guys came with, and you knew you was gonna have to pack a lunch. So for me, I was always up for the challenge, and you know, sometimes you get the best of people, sometimes they get the best of you. But at the end of the day, when you play, the one thing you want to know is when people be like, "Oh, yo, son is nice." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you always want to just be able to leave that mark and that legacy, so people respect that. You know what I mean? How you give it up.
Now let's talk about the actual moment, right? You know, said Dad introduced you to the game, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
And then you got to kind of take it on from there.
Yes, sir.
Right? When did you start to take the game serious? When did it hit you like, you know what?
Well,
I want to sleep with this every night. You know what I mean?
You know, I was playing football. I did an interview recently. I was playing football with Yoda. So I played football. Yeah. You got to get him on the show.
Please make that happen.
I got you.
You don't know how many times his name came up in interviews.
Nah, bro, I got you. I'm going to make it happen. That's my brother. I just spoke to him this morning. So I'm going to do that. I was playing football with Yoda. Was also playing baseball. So at 12 years old, all of my friends was going to trial for the Gauchos. And they were playing on 135th Street and IS 197 at the time. And I was 12, but I went to a midgets tryout. And my dude from my building, his name is Ateen Walker, who played with the church eventually. We went to the first tryout and we both made it. The first cut of the midget team. Now I'm 12, mind you, but I was always a grade ahead for whatever reason. My mom decided to start me in school early, but that's another story for another day.
Right.
So I think I'm in 7th grade. So that being said, I'm hooping. They tell me, yo, come back whenever day it was. Then the coach from the team was like, yo, how old are you? And I told him I was 12, and he had this like devilish grin, like, oh man, wait till I tell Tommy Sweeten this. And then basically I didn't have to try out for the biddy team because they saw my size and my ability, and they was like, yo, just come to practice. And I went to practice, and I played a scrimmage game that next day with the Gauchos against Young Life. And at 12 years old, I knew what the Gauchos was, and I was on this story program, and I was like, yo, I might actually be pretty good. And then everybody around my way was like, yo, you playing with the Gauchos? And I liked the attention, and I liked the, the opportunity was there, and I just kind of ran with basketball from there.
Wow. Legendary Gauchos. First of all, two things that you mentioned, right, is something that we all partook in, well, most of us, right, when I hear these stories, we all play football and basketball.
Yeah.
I started out in baseball. I started out in baseball and then went to football. Right? What position did you play in football?
Fullback and defensive end. I was always like a kind of a stocky kid, and I guess I wasn't fast enough, so they made me the blocking back, right? So I was blocking for Yoda, and he was scoring all the touchdowns.
Wow.
And then I was playing defense and got hit in my ribs, and I didn't really like the way that felt. And I was like, I don't want to play defense no more. And then, you know what I mean? I wanted to quit. My pops was like, nah, you got to finish the season.
Right.
But I was like, you know what? That was the end of football. I had a 2-year run, and it was over.
Was Yoda shaking guys like he was shaking guys on the basketball court, on the football field?
Yoda was way better in football than he was in basketball.
Whoa.
At an early age, he was the guy. Like, it was nothing for him to get between 4 and 7 touchdowns in a game. Like, and this ain't no embellishment. I ain't putting no mustard on the hot dog. This is just what it was, bro. He was a problem. And it was light, like, you knew what it was.
Damn. See, I bet you 99% of the people, especially that's not around your way, have no clue Yoda was nice in football.
No, they probably don't know, because there's stories that go around, and there's a bunch of people who I know, who know me, who just have an idea of what it is that I do or who I'm affiliated with, but we don't take the time to pat ourselves on the back or
Right.
celebrate the things that we do. And it's one of the things that's probably the most challenging for me, is to talk about myself. So a lot of the things go unnoticed, and hopefully things like this and opportunities like this give a chance to people to appreciate all of the things that you tapped into, and all of the help and the service that you do.
Yeah, me being an educator for over 20-something years, I started out elementary teacher, then when I was a history teacher about 12 years. And one thing I noticed, being the avid reader that I am, is that I noticed somebody else was always telling our story.
Correct.
Right? And we sit back and we want to find out the truth. And I just said to myself, I need to go to the source. One day, I don't know when, one day, somebody gonna want to know the history of New York City basketball, the real history, not what somebody else saw through their eyes, but from the people who actually lived it.
Correct.
I was doing a show with Gary Irvin, and I'm using him as an example because this happened with a lot of people. And I'm going on facts. I'm going online doing my research, and I post something, and he was like, "Yo, that's wrong information. Where did you get that from?" I was like, "Yo, it was from your Australian team, right?" He was like, "Nah, G, this is what it was, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "This is the importance." Like I always tell people that this is the importance of that, because
no doubt.
Who's the best to get the story from besides the people who lived it?
The horse's mouth, man. And that's one of those things where, when you get a chance, and I definitely try to tap into your show whenever I'm available, just to support. But New York City basketball is more than the stuff that people see on TV about Rucker Park or Dykeman or Boys and Girls High School, St. Ray's, Rice, whatever that is. This is a way of life for us. And if you haven't come up in this culture, it's hard for you to understand why it's so near and dear to us, because in a lot of cases, it saved our lives, right? Because if I wasn't hooping, I would have probably been in somebody's living room. You know what I mean? Because that's what everybody I was around was doing. And I have great parents. God bless them both. And good mentors, great coaches. But at the end of the day, man, I didn't always do the right thing. I didn't always make sound choices. I wasn't this version of myself that I am now at 48 that I was at, 15. So a lot of the times I had people to tell me, nah, man, we're not doing that. We're going to do this. So as that was given to me, that is the responsibility that I hold and I take very seriously when it comes to coaching, teaching, and mentoring young people.
Same here, brother. Same here. When you was coming up, who was the guy in the neighborhood? Who was the guy that everybody wanted to be like, or model themselves after?
Not many people would probably know the guys in my neighborhood. I'm from Claremont Projects, in the South Bronx. So there was a guy named Corey Brown. Corey wound up playing at Wright State. He also played with the Gauchos. He was a guy that everybody admired. A guy named Cleveland Phelps. His name is Gary. Gary played at Texas Tech. Going a little further back, guy named Arnold Duggar, who wound up playing. He went to Oral Roberts and played for the Philadelphia 76ers, and a bunch of guys that just nobody probably heard of. I mean, a lot of the guys who are true avid New York City basketball players and know the history. Mike Leaf, Dwayne Gathers, better known as Black. Those guys were the neighborhood heroes that I watched. And then obviously in the South Bronx, guys like Arnold Bernard and Carlton Hines, those were the guys who in my era was like ringing bells in the city, especially in the Bronx.
Those some powerful names right there, brother.
Yeah, man. Coming up with the Gauchos was like, we got to see so much. It was nothing to have Jamal Mashburn, David Kane, Conrad McCray, Kenny Anderson, Arnold Bernard in the gym at one time.
Right.
Andre McCullough. And these guys, it was like a rite of passage. Like I was their little brothers, right? And it wasn't always a 15-minute conversation, but it was just acknowledging I'm walking down the street coming from my pop's house at 45th. I see Jamal Mashburn or I see Kenny Anderson and they say, what's up? And my friends, it's like, you know him? And I'm like, yeah, we play on the shows. And I'm acting like it's nothing. But I'm like, they're acknowledging me publicly. It's a dope feeling. And it gives you kind of that rite of passage to know that you could be that as well. So it's inspiration as well as validation.
Brother, I thought I was the only one. Listen, I remember the 86 state championships up in Glen Falls, right?
Yep.
So Mr. Screen and Paco was walking my way.
Right.
And I'm passing them, and they both feel like, hey, Glenn, good luck tonight.
Crazy.
I was like, holy shit.
Right. Right.
Those little things, I was blessed to have Coach Screen on the show. Still looking for you, Paco. We're going to get you soon.
No doubt.
That little moment, or the fact during the playoffs, after the game, Joe Green was like, damn, Pooh, you good. And I was like, yo, this dude know my nickname. Like,
yeah.
That was big. You walk away, and for most people, it's nothing, but it meant the world, just like seeing Mashburn and Kenny Anderson, right?
Yo, understand this, bro. I work with the big three, right? Which, if we get a chance, we'll talk about that. And I get a chance to work alongside of Dr. J every other weekend. Now, we could talk about anything on this show that you want to talk about, but let's be clear. Let the record show I may be the biggest Dr. J fan in the world, right? And I'm going on the record to say the last game that I play, which will probably be in 2 years, Dr. J will be there in some form or fashion as the coach, honorary coach, the referee. I don't know. But whatever his number is, I got it.
Yo, first of all, he's on my bucket list, right?
Yo, bro.
And
if the big three is in town or you ever pull up, I'll make sure I make that introduction, yo. The dopest dude ever.
Let me tell you, this how real it is, right?
Yep.
Unlike you, I didn't have my dad in the household, right? So I would have to get men from off the TV to kind of model, like those real classy men. You know, I could name 3 off the back, right? It was Dr. J.
Yep.
For him being classy, always treating people nice, always being cool in interviews, the way he dressed. He was never loud. Just his whole mannerism. I took that part, right?
No doubt.
Then you had somebody like Marvin Gaye, who I thought was like smooth and debonair. The
No
ladies
doubt.
liked him, right? The ladies loved him, and another cool, calm, mellow person. And then James Evans from Good Times, right? right? You see this dynamic? You see the dynamics of the 3?
Yeah.
Right? Just being a real man's man, aggressive at some point, but loving in other ways. You know what I'm saying? So Dr. J was like that first model. Those 3 was like the first model, but Dr. J kind of stood out because this was our connection, right? I didn't sing, and I didn't see myself being a blue collar worker. No knock to that, right?
No, for sure.
It was just like those things that from him that I've learned that made me into, you know, the man that I am today, along with the other guys who mentored me.
That's an interesting point, because I never really thought of it from that perspective. But if you look at the parallels between the careers in terms of, you know, the things that I've been able to accomplish, and my disposition as a person, how I treat people, I'm very, you know what I mean? Like, I try to be approachable. I try to be available, and just kind of treat everybody the same. And whatever the star power or celebrity that I've been able to attain, it's not as important as the people who support me. So to that point, those are some of the things that I saw from Dr. J early. So in some way, to your point, that was some of the things that I was modeling, but almost subconsciously though.
Right. That's crazy, man. This is deep. So let's go back to that Gaucho game, because that was like your first game under the whistle, correct?
Well, no. I have been hooping for a while, because my dad was a coach, but nothing of significance that anybody would care about.
Listen, but that's not the point. The point is the first game under the whistle. What was that experience like? Like the very first game.
I was playing with a team called the Court Masters, and it was a guy named Mr. Woods who was a coach, and his sons went to my school, and I was the best guy in my school. I had a junior high school that was really, really good, called St. Peter and Paul, and we went to some guys, Cornelius Overby, who played at Drexel, Lamar Fish Coleman, who played at Hayes and went on to play at, I believe it was Franklin Pierce. But anyway, we had a really good team. We was beating everybody in the city, and Mount Carmel and Padua was our nemesis. So I was playing in this game probably in like the 4th grade, 5th grade, and we played at Millbank. And it was a small fry tournament with the small basket.
Small fry.
And one of my good friends from my neighborhood, actually lived in my building, came to the game to watch me. And I had 3 points, and we were playing against the Gauchos, my man Wally Whirl and Dana Bowman, and we got punched. I'm talking about fruit punch. It was bad. And I had 3 points, and I thought I was good until the Gauchos put that 50 press on us. And it was just like, now mind you, I had 3 and the team had 3. So that's how that went. And the Gauchos might have had 60. It was embarrassing. I knew if I wanted to play, I needed to get better. But, you know, it was like the referee, the crowd, these kids who were so good, so young. And I'm like, dang, man, that's how big the gap is in terms of, like, around my neighborhood, I was nice. But there's a whole different level that these kids are playing at that I'm unaware of. And that kind of was a spark to say, man, I got to go. It wasn't Lab then, it was the park.
Right.
I got to go to the park and work on my stuff. So that was the first time under the whistle for me.
Yeah, because, you know, when you talk to most guys, it's just like the excitement of everything. The referees, the coaches yelling the plays. And if you're playing against somebody really good, it's hard to really focus to where you really want to focus. right?
For
Especially
sure.
when you notice that there's a lot of things I got to work on. You know what I'm saying?
I was nervous, man. I just, honestly speaking, I was nervous. I wasn't that good. I was hood good. Like I was
Yeah.
I was good for around my way, but regionally, nationally, I wasn't even on the radar. So it was a good litmus to be able to see where I was and give me the motivation to continue to work.
That's real. So now I see you was in the Catholic school early, so that transition to
For,
Catholic high school was kind of seamless, correct?
for sure, for sure. Well, I tell the story all the time, but I got to give the flowers. So I was a Gaucho kid. I'll give a really short version of it. I was going to go to Roosevelt or Taft. And if you know anything about the Bronx, those are historically not great high schools when it comes to safety and academics, right? But that was my zone school, and I wasn't really too into the process. I was just hooping. I was a decent student, but fast forward, Greg Wilkinson, who played on the Gauchos and was like a standout on our team, big shout out to G Wilk, had told the owner, Lou Dalmeda of the Gauchos, and the then athletic director, Dave McCullen, that you need to get Eric with me at St. Raymond's. He was 13 years old because we were both the same age. And that was the first time I knew anything about getting tuition paid and getting scholarships. So he brought that to them and said, "You coming with me?" And I'm like, "All right, cool. I don't want to go to Roosevelt or Taft." So if school was starting on a Monday, I might have went in that previous Wednesday for an interview with my same suit from graduation. And they looked at my report card and, do you remember the MAT, the Metropolitan Achievement Test?
I didn't have to take it, but I know what it is. Yes.
So I had to take the MAT, and I had a low score on like reading or something. So they put me on probation in St. Ray's to see if I would be able to do the academic work. And it wasn't difficult. It was just a matter of applying myself. So that's the reason I went to St. Ray's, is because of Greg Wilkinson, and the Gauchos paid my tuition because of him.
Wow.
Yeah, at 13.
Well, a little side note, right? Speaking of graduation suits, right?
Right.
That people wore to a big event. Did you know that the suit that Big Daddy Kane wore in Ain't No Half Steppin' was his graduation suit, which he never attended?
Wow. That's one for the books right there.
Yes.
Big shout out to Kane, man. I was just talking
Kane,
to
that's
somebody.
my guy. Friend for a long time. Yes.
Listen, man, I was just talking to somebody about that KRS-One and King battle earlier today, but we won't even get into that.
Look, I get it. I got ties both ways. Kenny Parker played with me at Lincoln. So,
wow.
You know what I'm saying? I had him on the show too. That's my OG. Right?
Wow. That's love, man. That's love.
And also, another side note, I used to be an MC as well, right?
So, okay.
I rap with Jay-Z and Big Daddy Kane on the Stretch Stronger Barbito show as well.
That's dope, bro.
And Barbito can't find the tape. It's crazy. But he can tell you,
You have bars, though.
Yeah. We was over Kane crib, and Jay-Z came by. This before his first album even dropped.
Wow.
Right? And he played us Ain't No Nigga that night as well.
Wow.
But he said he was going to the radio station. And he wanted Kane to come. Kane was like, "I got my guys here." He was like, "They rap, break them."
Wow, that's dope, man.
Salute to Hove too. Salute to Jay-Z.
Yo, salute to you, man, with bars on deck and going in there and showing up and showing out. That's super dope, bro.
Yeah. I'll tell that whole full story. I told the bits of it, but I never really told the whole thing in detail. So one day.
That's dope, man. Dope. One day we got off air. You got to give me that scoop, bro.
Oh, for sure. I got a library for the music that nobody have ever heard, but
okay, copy that.
And Easy Mo B was my producer, so we won't even go there like that. That's my guy. I had him on the show as well, for sure.
You deep interest in the culture.
Yes. Listen, you know how basketball guys want to be MCs, right? And
all day long
want to be basketball guys. I got to kind of live a little bit of both, so it was cool.
No doubt.
So, okay, you make this transition to St. Ray's, right?
Yep.
Besides your guy who helped you get there, who else is there at this time?
Man, bro, we was loaded up. Book Richardson, who everybody knows from his coaching career at Arizona.
Yeah, I'm going to bring my whistle. I don't mean to cut you off. I keep reminding myself to bring my whistle because these are moments like this is timeout, right? Book's supposed to come on the show.
Yep.
He told me to hit him up, whatever. Anyway,
Yep.
this is why I want to bring him on the show because everybody liked the controversy. I don't give a fuck about that. What he's doing for New York City right now and what he's accomplished, and just him as a ball player, right? I bet you a lot of these kids don't even know that Book used to be nice and ball.
Yo, let me tell you something, man. His basketball mind is elite. Book went from transitioning. Big shout out to Dave, Dave's joint, man. Dave Cordova. He just put up a post the other day where St. Ray's, our freshman team, played against my man Jason Gilliam Alexander in the city championship of the CHSAA our freshman year. And Book was our leading scorer over T. Rencher, over me, over all of us. And then he turned himself into a pure point guard as a sophomore and then wound up leading the NCAA in assists his junior and senior year at Pitt Johnstown. But I'll let him tell his own story. I just want to acknowledge the fact that he was a heck of a player and a heck of a floor general and leader for sure. But yeah,
that's so ill. That's so ill within itself.
For sure.
What I'm saying? Salute to Dave. You know, I had him on the show as well, and Jason Gilliam, another one of my guys.
My brother right there.
All friends of the show. But those are the kind of things that, again, the youngsters need to hear, right?
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
They know you as coach, right? The people see you, you know, it's like, yeah, I know. He really played at St. Ray's. He really played at Our Savior Lutheran. These are two legendary schools, two storied programs. How many people get a chance to say that? We usually go out of town if we want to make that next step.
No doubt, man. And it's interesting because between myself, Orlando Antigua, who's obviously coaching at Kentucky, played at Pitt, Terrence Rencher played in the NBA, coaching at Oklahoma State, all-time leading scorer at Texas, Jamel Thompson, who played at St. Francis College in Brooklyn, wound up playing professionally in Puerto Rico. So from that team, there's multiple pros, multiple high-level Division I players, and I'm going to go on record in saying that was the beginning of the dynasty that we knew St. Ray's to be, because we were the first class, a bunch of kids to come in, and you know, big shout out to D. Reed, Gary Massey, Mike Thompson, but you know, that class we brought in, and here's the irony of it. In 1991, that was the first class to take St. Ray's to a Class A city championship. And I was gone, but we ain't gonna talk about that though. That was yeah, for sure. But I was there, I was supporting them, that was my brothers. I just took a different path because it was a better route for me. But you know, we brothers forever though.
Yeah, I use Terrence Rencher, right, as an example because he told the story on the show. Of how he was Mr. Basketball in New York.
Yep.
Leading scorer, Texas University history.
Yep.
And then goes to the NBA, had to start over.
Yes.
And how difficult that was.
No,
and
we lived
and he uses that as well, being the great college coach that he is. Right?
Yes.
But when I'm talking to kids and let them realize you have to start over on every level you go to. And kids don't realize that.
Because of the information that they're getting and where they're getting it from and how it's being disseminated. And, you know, being around youth basketball, there's a responsibility that you, myself, and everybody who's around this game have to these young people to be able to share in an authentic way. And sometimes somebody's feelings might get hurt. Sometimes, you know, people might not understand it. But if it's for the betterment of the young man or young woman, you got to give truth, man, because it's necessary for people to have perspective on where they are and how to navigate through this space. And if you're not around people who are giving you truth, you need to, you know, got to go the other way, man, because it's essential, because it's going to just reflect how things go in life.
Yeah, man. So how long were you at St. Ray's before you made that next
3
move
years.
to?
3 years. I played every level. I played freshman, went to the city championship, went to JV, and we lost in the semifinals. And then my junior year was the first time in the history of St. Raymond's basketball that we were ranked in the top 25, and we beat Hayes with Jamal Mashburn. We beat All Hallows with Cookie Williams and Charnel Scott, and we beat Talentine with Red Autry and Brian Reese in 1 week.
Wow.
On like a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And when we beat Talentine, Bobby Knight was at the game in St. Ray's.
Mm.
Yeah, man, it was epic. And they took a picture of us, and I wasn't in it, but our starting five was in USA Today, and that was the first time St. Ray's was ever ranked in USA Today high school basketball.
Wow.
Yeah.
What player that you would say that, especially during that junior year, that would give y'all kind of a hard time, give you guys fits, or school? It could be a player or school, like
Mashburn. it would. Mashburn showed up late, and the story gets told, so I don't want to speculate, but I know he was late for the game. And I know that he sat out the first half. People talk about the reason why he was late. I'm not even going to get into that.
Right.
He played in the second half. And in the second half, he gave us 34. So we beat him at home. And when we went to their place, like, we didn't have a snowball's chance in hell. It was all bad for us. So all of those teams we beat in that week, we lost to all three of them as well in that same season. But, and then we lost to Khaled Reeves and Derek Phelps in the playoffs. So
that's crazy.
And that was one league, right? McDonald's All-Americans, Parade on the Americans, NBA players. This is one league. And when I talk about New York City basketball and why I'm so passionate about it, is because the concentration of talent, we haven't even gotten to Brooklyn or Queens or upstate or Mount Vernon. We haven't even gotten there yet.
Or Long Island.
We haven't gotten any of those places. We're just talking about the Bronx, Manhattan, Rice, St. Ray's, LaSalle, Talentine, Hayes, and All Hallows. They called us the Little East.
Nah, there was rocking and rolling.
For sure. And it was pros in that league, multiple, that would come every year. And it wasn't like, and that's not even to talk about Anthony Cade, who left Talentine.
Facts.
It was unbelievable, man. And it's cool that I was able to be a part of it and compete in those games and say that I was a part of that legacy.
Mashburn was Mr. Basketball and didn't even make the McDonald's All-American game. Do you know the politics behind that? Because it happened to Ross Strickland too.
I do know. Because what people may not know, and I'm not here to be uncovering secrets, but a lot of this stuff is, 5-star and, the powers that be. God bless my guy, Tom Kachowski, will report on the Big East Magazine, Streets and Smith, all of that stuff would vote on, the best players in the country. And they would earmark these guys unless somebody had some amazing ascend or somebody was advocating. Like Cardinal Hayes at that time was good. And they wound up winning the city championship. But at that time, it was almost like the people that they voted for in the game was already solidified.
Yeah.
And then there was an oversaturation because Red and Reese were in.
Yeah.
Khalid and Derek Phelps was in. Big shout out to D. Phelps. That's my guy who made the McDonald's and played JV as a sophomore as well. So he made the McDonald's essentially in 2 years. So that was ill. But Ant Cade also made the McDonald's team, and he was playing at Oak Hill. So there was 5 guys from New York City that was in the McDonald's game at one time. So to add another was like, Oak Hill was Oak Hill. And the other guys had, Red and Reese was kind of, they were indoctrinated into the whole mainstream of it because of Malik and the people who had come before them at Talentine.
Amazing, man. This is
For sure.
so amazing. You never know until you kind of uncover these stories and to figure out who was who and the reason why certain people blow and some people don't.
For sure.
Right? It's game, it's politics, it's being at the right place at the right time.
It's
the
a lot of
stars
that.
lining up. It's not just one thing. Unless you just like some Lloyd Daniels freak Pearl or Kenny Anderson, like those once in a lifetime players that come along. And we could go on and on because New York City had a lot of them.
Well, that was my favorite player, Pearl Washington. And you talk about people who you pattern your game after. I was a stocky guard, and they had me playing down low, and I'm like, nah, man, you don't see Pearl with that lefty in and out on the left side of the court. He hitting you with 3 or 4 of them.
We call that the boogie hand. That's what everybody started doing, right?
Yeah,
everybody with Pearl doing that. He created that, yeah.
Yo, bro. And then the glass bank shot from the left side, the midi, like that's before people was really understood what the long ball was. The mid range was everything because that's what they were shooting in the NBA. You know what I mean?
Facts.
But yeah, Pearl was my guy. Pearl was my guy.
That's crazy. We actually in our tournament, Coach Peter Martin and Coach Mel, they have the Pearl Washington team in there. So
Yo, shout out to them, man. Let's keep his legacy alive. He's a true legend in New York City, and I feel like he's sorely missed, man. I'm a Bronx guy, but I know he represented Brooklyn in an amazing way. And I got a chance to meet him, and I don't want to jump around. And I know we got to.
No. Go ahead, bro. Yo, it's your night.
Yo, I was 13 years old and I was playing in the AAU National Championship with the Gauchos. Yeah, man, it was in Syracuse, and we were playing in Manley Fieldhouse. That's the gym they played in prior to the Carrier Dome.
Yeah. And
Pearl had just got drafted to go to the league, and he had that Avia contract, and he just had. And I don't like to misquote stuff, so it was either a 944 or a 911 white Porsche. I'm 13. This is Pearl, who I looked up to. He just got drafted, and I'm getting to sit in Pearl's car. And we went. Now we the Gauchos, so that was what it was.
The love, right? That's right. That's
right.
What I
mean? If the game was still competitive in the second half, it was like we wasn't doing good. So anyway, I missed a clutch free throw, and all of my friends know about this. Like I was sulking on the side, and I was all hyped. I was too hyped. I'm gonna ice him. So anyway, I missed the free throws, and we wound up winning the game, and we wound up playing against North Carolina, and we wound up losing in the chip. No, we played against DC against Dickie Simpkins. We lost in the chip, but anyway, Pearl came on the side. He might have brought me some juice or something like, yo, don't worry about it, man. We going to the chip. We going to get these rings. Because back then, if you won a tournament with the Gauchos, you get a ring. And Pearl was the one who kind of consoled me and was like, yo, you going to be all right, man. You good. So I never forgot that, man. Here I was, this 13-year-old kid, and he just got drafted to the league. And he took the time out to kind of be like, yo, you going to be all right, man. And I was a Gaucho bomb, but I thought yo, Pearl is my man now. You know what I mean?
You got to feel like that, man. He's all about hero, right?
Yes, for sure.
I was lucky enough to get his backcourt partner, Elmer Anderson, on the show on his birthday, right?
Wow.
So we did a special show with Pearl on his birthday. And then the following year, I got Gene Smith up here. Gene Smith tapped in. He was like, yo. I posted a picture of Pearl. He was like, yo, he is the reason why I was so inspired about New York City basketball. And Pearl, he said Pearl was one of them, but not he was the guy that kind of inspired him the most in the Big East.
Okay. So Gene is the big bro. Yo, Gene is so
guy.
Yo, Gene is he's so gangster with it. I'll be like, yo, Gene, man, I got this. He'd be like, nah, we're not doing that. I'm like, but it was a shoe company one time that was like sending me some stuff, and he like, yo, wait, they ain't doing this? Nah, he cut their water off. And I'm like, but you know, they sent me these kicks. He's like, nah, bro, they got to do more. So he really got me to understand my value and really, you know, kind of put me from a business perspective to be able to navigate through certain situations where in the past I might have saw it as a great opportunity, where now in the things that I've been able to accomplish, I don't have to accept every opportunity. I'm grateful and thankful, but you know, there's also a stated value based on the body of work that you've done that you have to, you know, state what it is that you're worth.
Right about that. I'm actually going through that right now. So,
Yeah,
for sure.
no doubt.
For sure. So, what can you say you like came into your own? You know, far as like, you know, now you at St. Ray's and you probably you left and you went
So
to
yeah,
Greater
so
Pastures.
so I went on to OSL because I wanted more opportunity. I was playing behind Mr. Basketball, who was my best friend at the time, but you know, I had to go out and do me.
Right.
And I wound up playing the 4 position, but I started to develop my skills, and I knew that was a decision that wasn't really popular in my family, amongst my friends, because St. Ray's was one of the ascending teams, and everybody knew we were going to be the best in the city. So when I left, it was like, yo, what you doing? And that was the first time I had to really make a decision as a young man about what my career was going to be like. So I did it. You know, I had the support of my family. Big shout out to my dad and my brother who kind of convinced my family that it was going to be okay. And that's when I started to realize, like, I got to go get mine, you know? And I was being recruited by some schools and at every level. And at the end of the day, I wound up where I was supposed to be. And it's funny because I had a solid college career. I was never the man on any of the teams, but I was what I would consider myself was a really good clutch performer. I took pride in defense. I was tops in the country in steals, but I was a playmaker, right? And I was a leader, and I always brought a level of New York City toughness wherever I went, and I was really a winner. Everywhere I've won at a high level. So to answer your question, it probably was after college that I really started to like close the gap between the people who I looked up to as a player
Right.
and now be on the court with those people and say like, oh, you one of those guys who could actually go out there and get to it, you know?
Right. So in this process, you making your transition through, you know, Lackawanna. Where is that located?
It's in Scranton, Pennsylvania. It's a Division II junior college. I don't even remember the region, but we played against a lot of competitive schools, man. And I'll educate people on the basic difference between Division I and Division II junior college. In Division I, they're allowed to give you full scholarships as well as room and board. In Division II, they're allowed to pay for your tuition, but they're not allowed to pay for your housing. So, you know, if you get Pell Grants and state aid, and, you know, Lackawanna was a good basketball school, so they made it work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They made it an attractive package. I went with one of my high school teammates from OSL, and we did some good stuff there, man, and got a bunch of friends from Philly and from around the PA area, Reading, that we got to it, and I became a leader, right? I was no longer a complimentary player. My coach, you know, named me the captain my sophomore year and looked to me to be able to be that dude to get a clutch time bucket or a stop or whatever. And that's what I tell people, man. You know, I'm not here celebrating, yo, I got 30 on this dude. And I had my share of those times.
Right.
But the reality was I was bred to win. That's how I was groomed as a gaucho. I was groomed as a young man by my parents. I'm a winner. That's what I do. It's who I am. I'm going to find a way to win. So everything that I'm a part of, like failure and losing is not an option.
Yeah, that's dope too. And another thing I kind of preach to kids is let them know, make wherever you go the best place you want to be.
No doubt. No
You
doubt.
know, sometimes we get caught up in the hype, and I notice when a lot of people go with the hype, they usually have a lot of sad situations. And it's not knocking everyone. It's knocking, you know, it's a lot more of us, right? Us kind of players, right? I was
Yeah.
a defensive guy. I was never the leading scorer on any of my team. In Lincoln, third leading scorer. At MCI prep school, I was the third leading scorer. And at Fairleigh Dickinson, I was the third leading scorer and the
Right.
top defensive guy. So, but it's way more of us than dudes who are the leading scorers and the dudes who are stars.
That's a fact. And at the end of the day, right, to your point, I preach the same thing. Go where, you know, they love you and not you love them. Because you're always going to be chasing behind, you know, the person that you're coveting. But if they show love to you, go to that spot, because you're going to have more opportunity because they see you as a value commodity. And for me, I wouldn't change a thing.
That's right.
Right? I'm speaking at a high school graduation tomorrow, and the first thing I talk about is it ain't like all of the things that people think it is that make a difference. Because I could talk about my university with pride, right? And talk about Lackawanna with pride. And some people might not even be able to pronounce it. But guess what? I went there and I got it popping, and people know about it because of me. You know what I mean? Let's get to that.
Talk that talk. That's right. That's right. Wow, man. This is crazy. This is something I'm telling you. Great information, brother. Great information. Right? Now, how did going to Lackawanna transform your game? Right? Because you know, you was
That's a very good question.
at before you got to that place. How did that transfer your game and make you to the player that you became?
Well, I was a 4-man at OSL. I'm currently 6'2", 6'2.5" on a good day, right?
Wow.
I was a 4-man, and the legendary coach George Booker said to me, I was coming off the bench, and I was going there to be like a contributor and to go to get a scholarship. I was a 6-man when the season started, and he said, if you want to play, you're going to have to rebound. Now, mind you, I'm transitioning from the Gauchos, where I always played down low. St. Ray's, they're like, you're not going to grow no more. You got to be a wing. So I played the 4 my freshman year, the 3 my sophomore year, the backup 2 my junior year. So I'm like, I'm a guard now. I could always handle it, and I could always, boogie, because I'm a city kid. But then my freshman year, my senior year, I played the 4. So I wound up rebounding. I averaged 15 and 15, but who's counting? My senior year of high school. And I went to college and I had to play the 1. So you talk about a transition from having a rebound to having to call plays, know everybody's position, and actually run the show. It's the hardest transition of my life as an athlete. But it was the best thing for me because I stood the same size, and I was able to have guard skills, understand how to play, and then I still had the bully mentality of a 4-man. So I would go in the post and play out of the post sometimes. So I had like a Mark Jackson vibe going on.
And he's so underrated. He should be a coach right now. That's a whole nother argument. It's like
God's plan is coming.
Yes. So just so you know, Gene Smith is on the show. What up, Gene? What's up?
What up, Gene?
Your partner and friend, Jerry Rice, is on the show.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying?
That's my brother right there, yo.
Uncle Ice is on the show. And your guy Tracy's on the show.
Yo, what up?
For sure. I hope it's a guy, not a girl. I'm saying that right.
No, it's love, man. It's love. God, girl, anything in between is love.
That's right. So when you had decided to transfer, or when you graduated and you moved on to Urbana University, why did you choose that school?
They lied to me.
Oh, shit.
They tricked me, yo. They hit me with the trick bag. It's a fact.
We got a truth on the show. It's
a fact. They lied to me. So I was going to a school called Union College in Kentucky. And the coach at the time, Chuck Cangelosi, was telling me stories about, I don't know how it is in Kentucky for guys that look like you, right? And yeah. Speaking of race, obviously, He's like, I coached out there in Union, Kentucky, man. And, I just want to let you know, if you decide to go, be careful. And I'm like, be careful of what? He's like, and I'm like, he was doing a lot of things insinuating about how it would be.
Right.
So it worked. It scared me. I told my moms, I don't know about this Union thing. So he said, if you're interested, come to Urbana. Like, we'll pay for your ticket. You could come out here and just see how it is. And there's some other things about the story in terms of, well, we ain't even gonna get to that. So, they made it attractive.
Listen, but for the first time, I get someone to say, they lied to me.
It's a fact. So it gets better though. I go out so I dub the Kentucky situation. I tell them I'm not coming.
Right.
And I'm gonna fast forward through a lot of the stuff. So I get to Urbana. They New York City kid, small town in Ohio. I'm like, they waiting for me to come out there. I'm ready to hoop. I'm coming off a summer where me and my guy Dana Dingle was working out every day in the summer. So I'm ready. The first day I get there, I sprain my ankle.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. I'm cooking. The gym is packed. This is just pickup. Now, I didn't say this. I was probably 3 weeks late for school. School had already started already. And I was still debating on where I was going to go. So anyway, I was bugging. So fast forward, I get hurt. They do the right thing. They honor the scholarship. They take me to class, drive me around in my classes, all of that. So I figured, I said, they're going to keep me even though I got this bum ankle and it was like a 3-week injury. A high ankle sprain is worse than a break. So anyway, I'm at Urbana. I'm trying to wait. They tabbing me as an impact player. I go out with one of my friends. Big shout out to Mark Eversley, who is now the general manager of the Chicago Bulls, my college teammate, right? So me and him and a couple of my other guys drive out to Union for Urbana versus Union in a football game. It's so many black dudes on the football team with gold teeth and dreads. I'm like, this dude hit me with a 52 fake out. But, you got to do what you got to do with recruiting. I'm not mad at you. It turned out fantastic. So big shout out to the story box, Mr. Chuck Cangelosi, who hit me with the 52 fake out.
Wow. So did you play? Did you play cause you was
senior year, you was like we was top 25
3-point shooters, right?
Yeah, we was top 25 in the country. We had 4 Division I transfers. We made it to the national tournament at Urbana. We were really good. I wound up coaching for a year at the school. So I had an amazing career there. Played with some All-Americans, Hall of Famers. We traveled around the country, and if you know anything, man, at smaller levels, my coach was the athletic director. So we got 7 pair of sneakers and travel suits and bags, and he treated us like a Division I program. And our games, we was the only show in town, so everybody came out. So it felt like he was playing at Cameron Indoor when we was at school. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I was on my New York timing out there, man. I sell water to a whale. I was cutting hair and selling bootleg watches from Canal Street. It was whatever, man, but it was love, bro.
Listen, college, you got to do what you got to do with your star. There was no NIL. There was no money given. Right?
I was NIL.
Yeah.
It was whatever. I was telling somebody, me and my bros, big shout out to all of the people at Nike that used to send 4 pair of kicks back at a time when we used to cut the bottom of the kicks.
Why are you giving away the secrets?
It's over now. I'm on the blacklist already, Good times though, man. Good times.
Again, we got a truth on the show.
For sure.
He keep it a 100. Like, cut up the soul a little bit. Shit the joints right back.
Bro, listen, man. I'm not this version of myself that people see now. Like, and I'm not ashamed of it, right? Like because it made me who I am today. And at the end of the day, I don't hide from what I did, but I do tell people the fault in it, and I tell them that there's a better way. And you know what I'm saying? Don't be me, be better than me.
Right. So E, give me a time when you was lighting things up, because like, man, if you one of the leaders in the 3-point percenters, like you must was cooking.
But you know, I was, if the people who know me, I was a slasher. That was my game, right? But as I got older, what I realized was you're not going to be, because in some strange way, I always knew I was going to be a professional. That was always my destiny. No matter how many points I averaged or what I did, I didn't know how or where, but everybody was covered in T. Rencher. And I got a chance to meet agents because I was one of his best friends. And they was like, yo, if you get player of the year and you make All-American, I could get you into Portsmouth. So that was like a goal of mine. So to your point about lighting it up, it was more about diversifying my game and being able to say that I can make the jumper, because everybody knew I could handle, everybody knew I could score, but I couldn't really shoot the ball with consistency. So then when I got a jumper, that's when my game opened up and I was able to just really be able to make shots. And as you know, if you could shoot, your first step gets quicker and your moves become more efficient because people have to respect your range on a jump shot. So, you know, I became a catch and shoot guy, which I never did probably until the end of my junior year, beginning of my senior year of college.
Very interesting that you say that, right? Because when guys hear about you from New York, think, oh, he can't shoot.
It's a fact. And it's true a lot of the times. But I'm not a born shooter. I'm a made shooter.
Yeah.
I put that time in and changed my shot mechanics and got the knuckleball out of the rotation. And I shot with that glove and that circle on your hand so you could get the proper rotation. You know what I'm talking about? Right? I got the T on the shooting pocket, the space. Listen, man, countless amount of hours to be able to have the correct shooting form. So when I'm teaching people the correct way to shoot, it's not nothing that I haven't done already.
Nah, that's real. I covered the OBL, right, in New York City.
Yep.
Right? And what I talked about with Zach Rands, who came in second place, and I just had Isaiah Leaky Roof Brown in the studio. He's my first studio guest, right?
Copy. That's dope.
But also, the guy who came in third place was Darius Davis. And the thing about all three of those guys that separate them from everybody else, and it's not knocking everybody else, their jumpers was wet that day.
If you can shoot the ball, you can find a space on the court anywhere. Shooting is a premium. I don't care. There's two things that's translatable to every level, and there's probably more, but the two things are defense and shooting, right? Like if you could, so they coined the phrase 3-and-D, right? So those are guys who can make the three and guard multiple positions. So Danny Green and many people like that have made a career on being 3-and-D guys. So if you can defend and you can make shots, you can find your way on the court at a lot of different levels.
And everybody want to be the leading scorer. Everybody want buckets. They can't do anything else. And then you get in a situation you realize, oh, they got me playing defense. I was the leading scorer at my school, but now I'm the defensive guy. But I never worked on my shot that much, so there's a ceiling. Yeah,
man. Yeah. And that's what we all get faced with. It's either evolve or dissolve, right? Like
facts.
Either your game is elevated or you wind up being in the background. And you know, in New York City, you don't ever get a chance to come up for air, right? You have a bad game in Rucker, and then you got a game tomorrow at Dykeman, right? You got a bad game at Orchard Beach, and you play tomorrow in West Fork. So all you got is your name and your game. And sometime I was the hunted, and sometime I was the hunter. So, you know, my peers were Kareem Reed and Skip Malou and Jerry Ice and all of these dudes, and these is my brothers. But when we went on the court, you know, for all intents and purposes, I was a kid that everybody knew because I was a gaucho kid, right? But on the grand scheme of it, these were household names that at the end of the day, it meant something to compete and hold your own and do your thing about these against these players. So I think the respect comes from people knowing that when I was out there, I got to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had Omar Lee up here
Okay.
for Newtown, and we were just talking about the time when we came up. We didn't want to play with the nicest dudes. It was cool, and we happened to get in the same AAU team as them, but we weren't chasing it. We weren't like, okay, they got the nicest crew. I'm gonna go play with them. We wanted to play against those guys.
Facts, and
It
you
would have
learn.
been easy for you to team up with Jerry Ice, right? Come on, let's go kill him. Now you know what? I need to go at him. Team Richard, let's just keep playing with each other in all our teams. Nah. I need to see you.
And that's how it was, man. Coming up with the Gauchos, I played for 6 years. And then when I got to my later years in my career, in terms of high school, I started to play with other teams, Minnesink and Millbank and other teams because of that specific reason. The Gauchos were loaded. And in order for me to have an identity as a player and for people to see my skill set, not to be in the background, those are still my brothers to this day. But at the end of the day, they know that when it came time to compete, I was bringing the smoke and they was, and whoever came out on top, that's just the way it happened. But the goal was to kind of close the gap in how people saw what I could do on the floor as opposed to all of the people that they already knew.
I want the smoke. That's all it is.
That's what it is.
Right? Because I figure if I'm holding the best player, they're going to be watching me too.
It's a fact. That's a fact.
I'm not hiding.
That's New York City though, right? Like that's what we do. It ain't, yo, that's my boy, or yo, we play at my school. Like one school, the bell rings at 3 o'clock and Riverside against Gauchos. Y'all know what it is, and we might be talking all day about, you just wait.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
And I don't know no other way to be.
Right.
If I'm hooping that, I was playing with kids in the gym the other day, and like these are kids that I train, so they laughing and joking. Yo, coach, you gonna get on the court? All right. Like I'm playing to win. You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing to just be out here and be joking around. And I'm literally getting upset. I probably shouldn't be out there. Wife probably kill me if I come home with a busted up
ACL.
Knock on wood, knock on something. But at the end of the day, man, like if I'm playing, I'm playing. I don't know how to like, oh, I'm just going to get a sweat. If we hooping, we hooping.
Yo, bro, this is why I don't play no more. Guys be like, yo, 50 and over, yo, pull you in shape. Like I said, bro, listen, I don't know how to play halfway. Nah, just sit in the corner and shoot. No, I don't want to just be doing that. I'm gonna be playing defense. I know I'm playing hard.
Yeah, that's because that's in you. That's the way you were brought up.
New York made.
Yes, sir.
Both of us.
Yes, sir.
Fact,
Yes, sir.
Fact. So, look, you got to do some things that even some of the nicest ball players in New York City history never have done. And that's play for the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yes, sir.
Brother. I was explaining to some kids today. No, it was yesterday. That in the early years of the Harlem Globetrotters, these dudes were so good, the NBA wouldn't allow them to play.
So it's a rich, rich tradition about the first player, Nat Sweetwater Clifton,
yes,
who played in the NBA, who was a Harlem Globetrotter. So that story is cemented in and of itself. And, you know, it started off as competitive basketball for all entertainment teams. The Wrens, the Harlem Magicians, all of those teams, the Harlem Wizards. And what people didn't realize is, yeah, they're doing entertainment, but these dudes is nice. So, you know, it was an American institution. I got a chance to play for 2 years. I learned an invaluable amount of stuff about the business of basketball. And, you know, to be in, you know, the Gund Arena at the time, or the Staples Center, the Forum, and to be in countries overseas and to, put on that uniform and be a part of that tradition. I mean, they got inducted into the Hall of Fame as a team. So if they in it, that means I'm in it.
Facts.
So, you know what I mean? As a kid, to be able to say, yo, I played a part in the situation that's in the Basketball Hall of Fame, like that's unbelievable coming from where I come from. Because at the end of it, Pooh, I'm just a kid from the Bronx, right? And I don't never like get too ahead of myself to feel like the success that I've had or the people that I've met or the influence I may have, I'm still a kid from the South Bronx who just living a dream and I just don't want to wake up.
Man, listen, speaking of the fact that these guys are so good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they play serious basketball, it kind of hurt at their bottom line that they were blowing everybody out.
It's a fact.
So, okay. So I think Philly blowing them out. Now we're going to entertain the people.
No doubt.
Right? And then they loved it so much, it was like, you know what? This is going to be it because they had to make a living.
No doubt.
Oh, man, I remember, what was this guy's name? Oh, I can remember this book. I read this book about this Harlem Globetrotter. His son lived in Harlem, and he actually went to Westbury with one of my friends, and he wrote a book about his dad. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
But they were fighting because he had earned his 5th year in the league, right? Because he got to get to the NBA. But what was happening was a lot of these NBA owners, right before they could give him a pension, they would cut these dudes, right? And he was in that situation, and his son fought hard. He wrote a book. He went on tour with the book and was speaking everywhere. And the NBA agreed to give the children the dad's pension.
That's pretty dope, man.
And when I found out the book, I'm gonna text you, man.
No doubt. That's
man.
pretty dope, man. That's
one
pretty
of
dope.
the greatest story. A lot of the history of the Harlem Globetrotters was in there too, because they would get a lot of these dudes. First of all, let's go back a little bit. He didn't graduate high school, then they got him in college, and he played college ball, right? And then he went to college ball, then he got picked up by the Harlem Globetrotters and didn't finish because I think it was Abe Saperstino's assistant.
Yep.
They spread $500 and $1 bills, and I said to get a lot of dudes because it made it seem like a lot of money. And back then it was in a way, but when you spread it out, it makes it look like a lot more.
No doubt.
And that was the kind of trickery, but we won't get too much of that. But it was just a rich book, and it opened my eyes up to a lot of things.
Let me tell you, man, when I say the business of basketball, I would never come on here or any other show and not do anything but appreciate that experience. But I will say this: if you don't understand your business and who you are as an entity, as a professional, you can easily get thrown in a trick bag and be taken advantage of. And my eyes were wide open, and I had been schooled by a lot of people prior to me becoming a professional, where I was able to navigate in the space and kind of make the game work for me. But there's so many stories of people that we hear in all leagues, because at the end of the day, it's a business.
Yes.
And they're in the business of putting butts in the seats and entertaining the fans that come to watch said entertainment or competitive game wherever you are. So you have to know where you stand in that, what your leverage is, and how to navigate through that space. So, I know this show is about a bunch of stuff, and one of the things that I always try to do is educate the people out there to let them know, man, be about your business.
Yeah. Gene said it's business, not personal.
That's a fact.
That's right. That's right. One of the greatest albums, EPMD, Business Never Personal.
Oh,
right?
man.
Business as usual. Back to business.
Eric Parrish making dollars.
Facts. So, again, now you get the experience of being in the Harlem Globetrotters. How did you get with the Harlem Wizards?
I actually started off with the Wizards.
Okay.
And I was playing at a game at Tarleton State University in Texas. And the Globetrotters were coming to see one of my teammates, a guy by the name of Chris Handles Franklin out of Harrisburg, PA. And it couldn't have been a worse game for him. And it couldn't have been a better game for me. I could have threw the ball in the ocean and it could have bounced off of 7 cars and went in the basket. Like I was throwing the ball through people's legs. I was hitting hook shots. It was like a magical night. And they just were adamant, because A-Train had played with the Globetrotters, and they were adamant that they had to have me, right? Like this kid is the next one. His personality, his smile, they were just going on and on. And they were just telling me. So they came to New York. We was at the Reebok Club. They sent the limo for me. They rolled out the red carpet. Again, going back to the business, I went to the current owner of the Wizards, who I was playing for, who had given me a first opportunity to become a consistent professional. And I told him exactly what it was. And because I did the right thing, he sent me with his blessings and said, listen, you know, you need to, like, you deserve it. Go see how that will plan out for you. And if you ever want to come back, the door is open. So that's kind of how it played out. I went to the Globetrotters for 2 years. And I'll say that as a business person, as somebody who thought they had more to offer, I walked away from the Globetrotters amicably. And at probably 26, I came back to the Wizards and became part owner of the team.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was able to negotiate that in the contract of, you know, a little give and take. And, you know, I was an owner of a professional sports franchise, you know, for the stake that I have at 26 years old, that a lot of people probably couldn't say that they did. And I had foresight that, you know, I could make a career out of this based on my experience from the previous 3 years. And 25 years later, man, I'm very, very blessed.
Wow, man. Look, we took our kids a few years back. I think Speedy Williams is on.
Yeah.
My guy Speedy, and they had such a great time. And again, for them not being able to see the Harlem Globetrotters, like I had to keep straight them out. Like, no, this is the Harlem Wizards. So it's like, no, but they doing the tricks like that. I said, listen, right? But to the kids,
right,
it was just like us watching the Harlem Globetrotters.
It's a fact. It's a fact. And
you know, so you guys did a great job, man. Do a great job entertaining people all over the world.
The ability to be able to expand our brand, you know, just to give a brief synopsis without to go into, we play about 500 events a year. This is pre-COVID. Yeah, we usually go internationally. I've probably been to China about 28 times. I was on billboards. I had my own sneaker. Like, I've been able to accomplish some cool stuff. And with the Wizards, man, the gap has closed, because, you know, before it was like McDonald's in White Castle.
Right.
Now it might be McDonald's and Wendy's. You know what I mean? So, you know, the fans know what it is, and we do what we do, and they do what they do, and respect to them. But, you know, I'm still a competitor. You know what I mean? I'm still a basketball player. I still, again, I would never say anything about what they do because I'm not a part of that organization. But to speak to what we do is world-class entertainment that I don't think is matched by anyone in this space in terms of being able to entertain with the players and personalities that we have is second to none.
So just imagine, I told you, when Speedy Williams is on the team back then.
Yep.
This year at my high school, can't say the student's name, but she has a Harlem Wizard jersey on, right? And I told her, this is before we kind of we was like, you know, working out the dates, but I showed her your picture.
Right.
Right? And she had the shirt on. She was looking at her shirt, looking at my phone, looking at the shirt. She was like, "You really gonna interview him?" Wow. She took so much pride in that jersey.
Right.
It's one of the favorite things to wear now.
That's dope, man. And that's what we don't realize, right? I'm fortunate enough to have been doing this long enough where there are kids who came to see me at 13, right? And might have been in my second year. They're now bringing their children to our shows and saying, there's no way I wouldn't let my kid have this experience. Like, you changed my life. You personally. I have a picture with you when I was 12, and like kids showing. So like, it's just the stuff that I hear from fans. Yo, whoever's been to a Harlem Wizard game or supported us, man, shout out to you, because that's the reason I do it, is to be able to bring smile and joy to people. And I didn't know that I was going to be blessed or born with this talent to entertain, but this is a gift. And you can put me in front of 2 people or 2 million, the entertainment is still going to be the same, and everybody's going to walk away from that saying, man, that dude or that team was dope.
That's real, man. So let's talk about your friendship and partnership with Jerry Ice and the City Legends, right? Tell me a little bit something about that.
No doubt, man. His company, I had a bunch of different businesses before that I had done promotions and marketing and clothing. And Ice and I have been teammates since we were like 12. So we've been friends for a really long time. And then he was coming to a bunch of the parties, legendary Black Butter parties that we used to do back in the city. So one day we just connected, and he was like, yo, man, I'm doing this stuff. And the Black Butter thing was kind of coming to an end. We had gotten into the music industry. We was managing Will Tracks. Big shout out to Will Tracks. And we kind of was phasing it out. And I was just saying to myself, man, like, this sports stuff and this uniform stuff is something that people always have to wear. And I had the background in clothing, and Ice was like, yo, let's try to collaborate on some stuff. And we already had a friendship and a trust that we had built, and he allowed me to become a part of it, and we ran with it, bro. And from events to clothing to uniforms to brotherhood to we family, man. It's not even like that's really my brother, and you know, he knows I would do anything for him and vice versa.
Yeah. One cool, smooth brother.
That's a fact.
For sure. And I know you and your brother collaborate on something as well, right? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, man. My brother started the New York Dragons AAU program. He was the then high school coach of the High School for Mathematics, Math, Science, and Engineering, which is on the campus of City College. So he sought to keep his kids together, and he created the nickname for the school. They didn't have a team before he started there, and the nickname was the Dragons. And he just started the New York Dragons for the Math, Science, and Engineer Dragons. And my brother then moved on to Satellite High School, so I kept the Dragons name and just started the AAU thing. And my brother has since coached to, I don't know, 6 city championships at Satellite Academy. He went on to coach at Kip Academy. And I would say one of the best high school coaches in the history of New York City basketball. When we kind of got involved with OSL, they hired him as the first ever postgraduate high school coach at OSL. And he won the first championship there as well. So his legacy and what he's been able to do in this space in New York City basketball is epic.
Yeah, definitely got to get him on the show one day, man. That's
for
real.
Sure.
That's real. So listen, now that I know that, this year we started the Brevoort Basketball League. I don't know if you ever heard about
I did. I saw it.
And
that's
the
my man
Coliseum.
Trevor Davis from Brevoort, and my man Chris Hooks.
Yeah, well, Chris Hooks is not from Brevoort, from the area, but I know you talking about. Yes. But me and Trevor's on the committee together, along with a few others, and Brevoort was the court that's, seen a lot of light, right? In the 70s, it was the Rucker of high school basketball for New York. So when the guys was going up and playing in the Pro-Am and Rucker, like the Bernard Kings, Royal B. Freeze,
Right.
Fly Williams, Mel Davis, all these guys was playing in the Coliseum. They used to have write-ups, and the Daily News actually put up a few on my page. Actually, two huge write-ups. And in the 80s, we had a brief period, right? High school, I was the last guy to win the MVP in the high school tournament. And then Trevor Diggs, father, Mr. Diggs, created the midget league for the younger guys. Because his sons was coming up.
Okay.
So for like 20 years, no one has played on the court. And about 40, 50 years, the court was never really renovated. So through my company, Basketball Heads, I was able to hook up with this company, and we got the court renovated. It's a company called Full Court Peace. We got the court renovated, and then we bought the league back from its 20-year hiatus from even a league being there. So
that's good, man. Salute to you and everybody who contributed towards that.
Oh,
man.
No doubt, no doubt. We're a family, and we pull all this thing together as a group. So what I'm saying is, I want to next year, because we got 10 good teams, and then once I start posting the stuff to my page, the floodgates open up. So about 10 more people will just hit me up like, yo, I want to get a league. I was like, all right, for next year. But I definitely want to get some more teams from uptown to participate. Because like we was talking about, a lot of guys from uptown never really came to Brooklyn, right?
Yes.
And it's not to not, pat the guys in Brooklyn on the back, but we had to travel everywhere. So since the guys didn't come to us, we had to go every place else. But I want to bridge the gap so the kids can experience that. And if you got league, we'll send some kids up there to you guys.
No doubt, man. And I did play in you familiar with the housing league?
Yes. Facts.
So
that's where we all started out. Yeah.
I played in housing, and my man Ephraim Whitehead, big shout out to E. Whitehead.
Ephraim, yep.
Yeah. So I did play out there, and they chased us out of there, man.
Yo, E, why you gotta mention that? I was trying to leave that out of there. I understand why, but trust me, I understand why guys from other places didn't come to Brooklyn.
That's a part of the story, though.
Yes.
That's part of the story. Like, listen, man, that's not the only part I got chased out of. Come on, man. Like, this is what it is. Like, you coming up in New York, that's a part of it, bro. Like, listen, man, for us to just be here having this conversation and to be in a space where we are healthy and gainfully employed and in a good mental space, like, I don't take things for granted, right? Your time, your platform, I'm appreciative and thankful because you could be anywhere in the world.
That's right. That's right.
So at the end of the day, man, I really understand that these situations that we came up in, it could have went a different way, and it did for some people, but we were fortunate enough to be able to, be blessed to make it out of a lot of crazy situations. Basketball and otherwise.
Listen, those nights of tournaments, Trey father, Mr. Diggs, right?
Okay.
Because we named the court after him, right?
Okay.
He was the man who was taking us out the neighborhood and introducing us to the CYO leagues, the NYCHA leagues early on, right?
Wow.
And also, he was the only man that was coming to see me play high school. Like when I was coming up, I was the only dude my age playing high school ball in the where we live at.
Wow.
Right? So I was the only dude in Brevoort playing high school basketball, and he would come support me.
And I know that story, man, and I didn't understand it when my dad was the community dad, and he was showing love to everybody because a lot of the dudes that I grew up with didn't have dads, and I wanted that time for myself, but he had a bigger mission, and he had a different calling on what he needed to do. So now, as the person who becomes that for young men and young women, I get it, right? And I appreciate them that much more, man. And I tell them I love them anytime I can, and just try to stay connected and enjoy the time that my dad's still coaching with my brother.
Man, salute to your dad, man. One hell of a
Sure.
man. It just takes a lot to do that, especially when you have your own and you giving your time for other kids. You know what I'm saying?
No
So
doubt, no
that's
doubt.
real. So E, how did you? Well, can't say you stopped it because you still in it, but how do you rediscover yourself after basketball? Like,
Well, what I realized was that my talents were way beyond who I am as a player, right? Everything from being a truth teller to understanding marketing, because that's what my background is and my degrees are in, to understanding timing, public speaking, to be able to host a show that's coming up on ESPN Radio this weekend. It'll be the first weekend. Make sure y'all download the app, 98.9 Charleston, South Carolina, or the ESPN app, Sundays at 11, shameless plug.
listen,
So
we're here to promote you, brother, whatever you
for
need.
sure. But I didn't set out to be a host of a podcast or to be on ESPN Radio. I just wanted to do things that were different, dynamic, always stuff that I'm passionate about and fun. And I was learning that I could put these tournaments on and do these pop-up shops and create things that were successful. And I was good at it, and it wasn't difficult for me. So in terms of rediscovering myself, it's constant. So I'm doing things now that I didn't do 10 years ago. And I'm sure tomorrow there'll be new ideas. And I do anything that's fun and that I enjoyed and I'm passionate about. If it's not fun, I don't care how much money it is. If I don't have a passion for it, I can't do it. And I won't do it because I get a chance to make that choice because, I got the pen and I could write the story how I choose to, because at the end of the day, the confidence I have in myself won't waver because of where I'm from.
Yeah, I think for the first time in having this show, I realized the importance of being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I had DVDs. I used to put out hip hop DVDs, especially after I started rapping. I was putting hip hop DVDs to host, open mics and things like that, and never really wanted to be in the guy in front. Right?
Yep.
My friends was telling me to do this a long time ago. Yo, you need a basketball show, and I was like, nobody want me hearing nobody's stories. Nobody want to hear me talk, and
Right.
just push it away from it. And the more I would get away from basketball, right? Because there's a whole story why I felt I loved the basketball while I went to music.
Right.
But the Most High has a way of bringing you right back.
Yeah.
When you least expect it, because all of this stuff wasn't planned and it kind of fell together. And again, you get blessed and you're able to do things, some amazing things in a short period of time. And that's right. We're always still rediscovering ourselves. So
it's God's timing.
Yeah.
It's God's timing, man. It was the calling for the time and the situation and the opportunity to come together at the right time. And, you are important to our culture, right? This show is important to our culture on a wide scale, and for how big the Basketball Head show is going to be in the future. And you're going to look back on your interviews and where you take it and how many courts you renovate, because Brevoy is the first one, right? But somebody's going to be like, yo, how did you do that?
Right.
And then you're going to consult. Yo, so we started City Legends tournament in Central Park, right? With 10U. And then we went into Gaucho Gym and we had some of the top players in the country with John Calipari and all of these major coaches there. And everybody was in awe of what we were able to accomplish. But, was a Drake song, You Wasn't With Me Shooting in the Gym. Like, nobody knew, right? Nobody knew the stuff that you had to get through to go to get there. And I see a lot of people and come across a lot of people, but man, it's like if you really knew my story, you would have a different level of appreciation for what I've been able to accomplish. Because, yo, it wasn't sweet. You know, the things that I had to see with these eyes and experience with, you know what I mean? In my essence, is so I can't, I go back to gratitude all the time, because that's the space that I try to stay in. And even when I get in some places where you know, you navigating through and you may have frustration, or you might get too ahead of yourself, you got to get grounded in your you know, your foundation. Like knowing that, you know, I'm a kid from the Bronx and there's other kids out there watching me that need to be inspired and need to get, you know what I mean? So that availability is important.
Yeah, man. I look at this as being, you know, a service to others, right?
Cool.
I look at my life. I worked in special ed high school for 21 years now, and to be able to take kids and provide some kind of normalcy to their life, right? And then mentor them through some tough situations. And then on the other hand, giving some really successful men a chance and women a chance to tell their story.
Yes. Yes.
So that's, and I tell people in New York City, this is a platform for us. This is us. This is our platform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
and I feel that, man, and I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to just connect with the people and just share in a way of, you know, like most people live in the middle. When I'm saying that is like, there's a bunch of stars out there and you've had a bunch of them on your show, but there's some guys who were, and women who were able to garner success, who were a 9-point average, 13-point average. Like, it's not always the sprint, it's the marathon, right?
Facts.
And there's some people who start out ahead who may not finish ahead. And
that talk, he tell you, is way more of us than them. No knock to them though.
You know, it's always said respectfully, but I let people know that it wasn't about what anybody else was doing. You know, it's a lane that was made for me, and I stay in it. And when the lane goes to the left or goes to the right, if I don't like it, I'm gonna create the lane.
Nice.
So that's my personality as an adult, to know that whatever is for me is for me, and whatever it is that I want, that I'm willing to put the time, energy, and effort to, I can make happen. It's just a matter of what I commit myself to.
Yo, I feel you, brother. I get so many people telling me, Pooh, you need to go outside the city. You need to go outside the city. And I'm saying, I get what you're saying. There's a lot of dudes. Trust me. And I don't think they see what I see. There's a lot of dudes. You got my guy, Kyle from All Things Hoops. My guy, Flea from All We Live Yet. Got my guy, Ron Soufret from A Game. There's a lot, right? You got Gene Smith with Hoya, right? Locker Room. There's a lot of people gathering these stories, right? But New York City is my home, and we so rich in tradition and culture. Until I can, you know, go out in New York and you're like, basketball heads, this is what it is, I still won't be finished.
Yo, bro, let me tell you something, man. Do what's authentic to you always.
Facts.
Have fun with it, man. The minute it's not fun no more, put it down.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Enjoy yourself and do it your way. Because as, you know, adults now, we don't get no do-overs, man. There's no mulligans here. Like, when you wake up and you go to do your show, there should be enthusiasm, exuberance. You should be going to have fun for the purpose of why you started it, right? Everything that's going to be added onto you for the work that you're doing, that's going to be what it is, right? Because your value will be stated based on the work you put out, and vice versa. But for me, when I do my show, I have fun with it. And whether it's ESPN or YouTube or whatever, I'm still going to be E. Jones. And that's all I know how to be. And it's a difference when I was younger, because I didn't fully know who that person was. Now I'm comfortable in my skin, and becoming the best version of myself is something it's daily work.
and your reputation speaks for itself, brother.
Thank you, man.
So saying that, right? We talk about all the things that that we want to accomplish, the thing we're still working for. If it's anything that you could change, what would it have been, or what would it be?
Nothing. Nothing, because this is God's plan.
Yes. Yes.
And I could look back on some things and say that I would have, maybe went left instead of going right. But the truth of it is, I'm in an amazing position. I'm happily married. I do okay for myself, and I'm healthy. My family's intact. So the things that make people rich in my eyes are the things that I just stated. So I have those things. So whatever it was that happened prior to me getting to this point led me here. So I'm on my square right now.
All right, brother. Well, we've reached that point where we
Yes,
gotta
sir.
get to the top five.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're gonna hit you with a few top fives. We're gonna get you up out of here, but this is the most important part of the show, as I said, and the hardest part.
Let's do it.
All right. Top 5 players you played against.
Top 5 players I played against: Jamal Mashburn, Roderick Rhodes, probably Terrence Rencher. I know I'm forgetting some, but Chris Webber, and probably the last one would be, I'm gonna just go Jalen Rose.
Where you played against Jalen at?
AAU. We were the same class, 1991.
And Chris is in that same group.
Yeah, 91. Yeah, and it's bro, it's so many more, but
but you only can say 5. Can't cheat.
Yeah,
Can't cheat.
Yeah. I'm going 5. I'm standing in lines.
Good. Top 5 guys you played with.
Definitely T. Rencher, definitely Jerry McCullough, definitely Jamal Mashburn, definitely Damon Santiago, and definitely somebody that nobody knows, my man Jerry White from Urbana University, All-American, Hall of Famer, total gamer.
Top 5 players from your neighborhood.
Gary Phelps, Mike Leaf, Corey Brown, Arnold Duggar, and I'll say Fab Flanor.
You breezing through this, E. You're a veteran of the show. That's what it is. That you watch the show. You good.
It's a fact. It's good.
All right. Top 5 players in New York City history.
Ever?
Yeah. In your eyes.
I'm a historian of the game. So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lenny Wilkins, Tiny Archibald, tough. Bernard King, Kenny Anderson.
2 Brooklyn guys made that list. All right. I know you could have went any other way, but I had to get you on that one.
I left Bob Cousy out too.
Oh, come on. That'll be 6, E. Come on,
I
man.
know. Okay, I'm standing the rules.
All right, cool. Last one, I'm going to get you out of here, brother.
Okay.
What's your favorite pair of sneakers to play in?
Puma Sky LX. So I'm going back, and the reason why is because Kenny Anderson wore them in Golden Hoops, and I went out everywhere looking for them, and I found them. They were super comfortable. I haven't seen them or heard of them in probably 25 years, but if anybody knows where to get the Sky LX or have
Now hold on. I'm not too sure. Hold on for a sec. keep talking about the sneaker. Give me like 30 seconds.
Okay,
All right?
yeah. The Sky LX joints was a pair of Pumas that had the strap across the ankle, and you know, I believe that Malloy High School wore Pumas, or they had some kind of Puma deals because he was wearing those sneakers. And then fast forward, he had them on in golden hoops. So when he had those joints on, I was like, yo, I got to get me a pair of Sky LX. So fast forward, I wound up finding them super comfortable. I played in them for like a year and wore them in like only big games that we had with the Gauchos. So I believe it was like '86. The Gauchos played the Russians, and I wore the Sky LX in that game.
Are these?
That's the newer version of them.
Okay.
That's the newer version of them. It was a strap across the ankle. That's the newer version of the Sky LX. I don't even know if that says that on the box, but the Sky LX Pumas, bro. That not many people know about those, man.
Listen, if it's any sneaker that I wouldn't mind having a contract with or a sponsorship with, it'll be Puma. I'm a Puma guy. I'm a Puma guy to heart. You know, no disrespect to any other sneaker company out there. Salute to M1. They hooked me up with a lot of pair of sneakers, but Puma is my thing. So
I'll make that connection, man. They've been very good to me and they've showed love. So I could definitely connect you with some people and maybe they could do some things with the show or on the show. But I could definitely make that contact for you.
No doubt. Everybody knows I'm a Puma guy.
Yes, sir.
If I'm going to, purchase something, I've been blessed to have some really cool friends, but I would like that, man. I appreciate that, E.
No doubt, bro.
Well, listen, man, I'm not going to keep you too long, man. Y'all appreciate you, brother. Listen,
yes,
sir. I'm saying this for real. Your reputation, awesome in these streets. Everybody who I talked to, everybody that knew you was coming on the show, even when I put your picture up, because for some reason, I don't know, it happened. Whenever I put a picture up, dudes hit me with the DM. They coming on the show. For real, you're a cool dude, whatever. I always get these DMs from people. And I remember when I put your picture up, brother, that a lot of people said a lot of positive things about you, man, how solid you are. And I know we never met, but I'm a Cancer and I get a really good vibe for people. I could tell, man, you one of those middle guys, you know what I'm saying? Like myself. So very appreciative, brother. Very appreciative.
Thank you for having me on the show. If I could leave anybody, especially young people, with anything, man, understand who you are, stay true to who you are, stay grounded in your moral compass, and make sure you go after everything with everything you have. Continue to watch Basketball Heads, subscribe to the show. Salute to you and everybody that has come on and that will come on after, man. Thank you for having me.
No, I appreciate you, brother, man. And tell the wife thank you for allowing you to come on the show. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate her, you know what I mean? And everybody, man, thank you, man. Appreciate everybody, man. E, let's keep those lines open, man. And
always.
All right?
I love you.
No doubt. No doubt. Man, see how life can be? Just when you thought you couldn't accomplish the things you want to accomplish in life, sometimes life always has a way of bringing you right back to the place you love. When he started out, he knew he was playing with some great players. He didn't let that get to him. He said, you know what? I'm going to go to a place and create my own space. And made it happen. So it's not too often when you hear a guy who could play for two powerhouses in New York City history, right? St. Raymond's over to OSL, and then found his way to Lackawanna, created his own space. And when you hear a guy who's leading in assists, leading in steals, and then good three-point shooter, you know you're getting a guy with game. And he wanted to smoke like I wanted, playing that defense like the legendary Gene Smith, one of the best in history playing defense. It's just something about us middle guys. We stay grounded, we stay humble, and we always looking to help our fellow man and woman, and especially kids. The kids are so important in this day and age. They're going to need leadership. They're going to need mentors. A guy like Eric Jones out there, man, we know kids is going to be led in the right direction. So, for you basketball heads out there, I appreciate you for joining me. I am your host, Glenn Pooh Harding, and you've been watching the official home for New York City basketball. We out of here. Peace. I love what I do.